Welcome to Utah Stories. So you probably have noticed we have covered a lot of downtown local businesses over the years, and we've covered behind our guest here, we have a picture of Main Street. We've always believed that Main Street is the most important street, and downtown should be the central business district for the city. It shouldn't be in malls. It shouldn't be in strip malls. It should be downtown because people want to have a destination, a place to go where there's an abundance of small businesses and you see the character and the makeup and the tapestry of the city. But downtown Salt Lake City right now is really, really suffering, if you hadn't noticed. And the business owners who are down there are really suffering more than anybody because they're having to deal with showing up to work in the morning with a pile of human defecation. And they're just basically told they need to clean it. And then perhaps operating their businesses, and I've heard this one recently, and somebody shows up and starts masturbating. Somebody who's experienced this firsthand is Teresa Bowman. Teresa, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
So besides what I've described, what's it been like being in downtown? You're right on 3rd South, just above Main Street, is that right?
Just above Main Street,
What's
just
it
below
been?
Main Street. Yeah, what's it been like? It's just been very hard. And we try to get help, and it's just everybody just doesn't want to listen or help or even listen to the story. So
the city officials, they just kind of are like, oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And they don't really do anything about the problems that you're suffering from?
No, they don't. Matter of fact, they came in and talked to me and gave me some solutions. And here's some of the solutions were. I had Miss Eva Lopez come in and talk to me. She did work at the mayor's office, has now resigned from the office and is running for city council, District 4. She sincerely wanted to help. She was trying to help me. She had gone in the salon for many years and had pedicures, and she's like, hey, I have some great ideas. I know you're applying for the city grant. The city grant was to help business owners downtown. It was like $50,000 to help us during the hardship of being closed during COVID. And she says, why don't you apply for this grant? She goes, another thing you should do is hire your own little security guard. And I said, she goes, you need to allow $50,000 into your budget every year and have your own security guard. And I said, I'm a hairdresser. We barely make, we're lucky if we make $50,000 a year. So she says, well, if you want to stay open, this is what you need to do.
That's the city's solution to you.
City's solution
for
to
you
me.
to hire your own
security guard.
Not rely on the police.
Not rely on the police, yeah.
So what's happened when you have tried calling the police?
Well, last time, the reason I contacted Eva is because one time we went on Fox News and then it went to Fox National News. And they contacted me after watching it and they said, we talked about chairs being thrown off the top of the building and hitting our awning, and we talked about men masturbating in front of our girls and human feces at our front door and having to come and shovel it and pile it and clean it every day. And the cops coming, and the homeless guy just pushed the cop. I recorded it.
So can I pause you? You
Yes.
said men masturbating in front of your windows.
Yeah.
So when a guy just shows up and starts doing that,
Yeah.
isn't that totally public indecency? Shouldn't the police be there right away and taking that guy out?
You would think so, yeah.
But that's not happening.
No, the first time they came. The second and third time they never even came. And that's when I called Miss Eva Lopez from that worked for the mayor's office. And I said, you asked me not to go on national news, but I need some help. I can't keep girls working here. They don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. Nobody feels safe. How am I supposed to have a cute 18, 19-year-old girl cutting hair here if this is going on? And she said, well, you need to hire your own security person. Or she told me I should open up a coffee shop inside of my business that would deter the homeless from coming around by having more people around all the time. And I said, why would I open another business inside of a failing business? I said, it takes, and hair and food don't go together anyways. So I tried, to do a coffee shop once upon a time. And those were her solutions.
Well, and I gotta say, it's almost like these government leaders, they think in this way, this manner, that there's almost unlimited money at your disposal to solve all these problems.
Exactly.
Because that's how they think as bureaucrats.
Yes.
They think, oh, well, let's just write another grant for more funding for this project. You could do the same thing as a business owner, and somehow this money is just going to materialize. It seems like they don't have a clue that you got to make payroll. You got to make your business attractive to people, for people to want to work at, to people to come and want to patronize and get their haircut there.
Yes.
And their role is public safety. Their role is to make the street a nice street for people to want to walk down and be a part of.
Exactly.
And so do you think that stems from the culture of the mayor's office, that she just thinks that, oh, well, the business owners, of course, they have all the money in the world, they can solve these problems?
I think so. I think people think like that. They think, oh, you own a business, you can fix this. But they don't realize, oh, I just spent $30,000 that year remodeling and more, or you have to worry about payroll and you have to pay girls more now. And then you get these incidents going on and you have to pay for parking and rent and everything else. It's just not endless dollars going on and on.
Mm-hmm. So if we look at the businesses that have left that area around Main Street, the last one I saw that closed was the ramen noodle house that was right next to Cheers to You. But Southam Gallery was an art gallery on Main Street for, I believe, 45 years.
Yeah.
And do you know of other businesses that are really struggling with the problems there?
The bridal shop closed there too, downtown. It was a Blue Lemon closed down too.
Oh, they did?
Yeah, in the mall. I heard. I'm not sure. I heard that. But yeah, they're just making it hard to stay in business. I think if we had more of a male presence, but we were a woman-run business, and it's my daughter and myself running it, so it's just mostly women all the time. But we just can't. It feels like you're in a war zone, but you don't have a gun, But you have to go out there to battle every day and deal with all these problems.
Yeah, that's a huge problem. Because literally, if you're all women. And some guy just shows up there doing
takes down his pants, staring at you.
If it were me, I would probably take a baseball bat out there and just say, "All right, let's go.
Let's go.
You're gonna do that here, then I'm not gonna
we've
have
had
a problem with that."
Chairs thrown off the top of the building at us too, and ruined an awning that cost $7,000.
How did that happen? Was that a homeless person?
Yeah, that was a homeless person. So American Towers, their security guard, let someone in. They thought he was a painter. He went up to the top of the building. It's almost been 2 years ago. It was in January. He went up to the top of the building, bathed for an hour. They watched him on the cameras. Bathed in the hot tub for an hour, like an hour. Wow. And then he decided to get out of the hot tub, and those big heavy metal chairs, he threw them off the top of the building.
Wow.
Put dents in my cement. And
that
then
could have killed you guys.
It could have. It was like 6:03, and I had two girls that were getting ready to walk out. I have recordings of it. And it could have hit them if they left right on time at 6:00 when they were supposed to leave. But it's craziness.
Yeah. And the thing that, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. So then the cops came, and they just let him go. Nothing happened. It was just...
Yeah, so we had on the program earlier Salt Lake County District Attorney Sim Gill, because we keep hearing that same thing, that these homeless criminals, they're just going around with impunity, committing crimes like masturbating, like you described, and public defecation. That one I actually have a little sympathy for, because there's just not enough restrooms around downtown Salt Lake City.
Yes.
What are you going to do if there's no restrooms? That's really the administration's failure. But really, ultimately, I think this has to come back to the buck has to stop somewhere. And it does all come back to the mayor. If you aren't providing any place for these people to go, especially safe places for the people who are temporarily unhoused, and you're not separating the homeless criminals from those who just want to find safety and shelter, if they're all being put together and they're all trying to camp together, they're all being harassed, how do you not go insane if you're constantly being harassed by the cops and told you can't be here, you can't be here, you can't be here? It's just creating a disaster environment where everybody's on edge, everybody's losing it, and there's just no solution at all.
Yeah.
So it's like at this point they're doing a 50 have you heard about this? 50 pods
Yeah.
in a parking lot
Down the street from where we were. Yeah. That was
600
yeah.
South, or 600 West, 300 South,
Yeah.
I believe. Do you like that solution?
No, that was part of the reason we were just like, I'm out of here. Because, they're like, oh, they'll be safer there. They won't bug you so much. But they walk up and down the street. And we've had so many problems. And then, like, when the cops have come, and the poor cops, I really feel bad for them because I feel like they try. Like, one day, the first guy masturbated to us. He was laying in front of the door, and we couldn't even open the door for clients. And I said, hey, bud, my daughter opened the door and she said, hey, buddy, you got to move. You want some coffee? Homeless used to be different. Let me backtrack a little bit. Homeless used to be different. Like, I've been there for almost 30 years. I used to walk out the door and say, hey, Steve, you want a cup of coffee? I knew most of them by name. We were more like a community. It wasn't like we were scared. Mm-hmm. And they weren't scared of us. It was just more like, hey, are you hungry today? I got some leftover steak. I got a salad in here. Do you want to sweep out front? I'll give you $20. Different guys that would come around. So anyway, so she opened up the door and said, hey, buddy, I have a cup of coffee. You got to move. I have clients coming in. And then he looked at her and just started pulling down his pants and masturbating at her. And my daughter's a beautiful girl. She looks like Reese Witherspoon. So anyhow, we called the cops. The cops came and they said, he pushed the cop. And I said, hey, look, if I did that to you, isn't that called assault? And he goes, if you did it to me, it's called assault. He goes, the mayor's told us just to let them go, turn away, and we can't do anything about it. He said, we're not supposed to touch the homeless.
So the police officer said the mayor directed them to say that.
Yeah, and they told us that a couple times on a couple different incidents. So I have another girlfriend. She works for Fidelity upstairs from the American Towers. And she, one day a homeless guy came in, and this is a public building. It's a financial institution. And they broke her glass door, and she called the cops, and the cops came. They gave her a claim. They give you a case number, so because then you can claim it on your insurance. And she goes, "Aren't you going to arrest him or do anything? He broke a door. He's running around in this financial institution." He says, "All I can say is, I'm not supposed to touch him." The mayor, he said, "If you have a problem with it, call your local mayor."
Yeah.
And that's what we hear over and over again.
Yeah, it's ridiculous because, as Sim Gill says, the problem is mental competency.
Yeah.
If a person is not competent enough to stand trial, you can give them every felony in the world, but
exactly.
that gives them an out.
Yeah.
To commit this crime. But then we had David Droscher on the program, who was a drug addict for 14 years. He said, do you know how competent you need to be able to survive on the streets? You have to be smart. You have to be cunning. You have to be manipulative. You have to be planning. Those people are fully competent. They just, when they're high, certainly some of the competency goes out the window, but there's plenty of competency there. But I believe, that's really the excuse to not have to deal with the excessive amount of people that would have to be put through the criminal justice system if they started using that mechanism.
Yeah.
And I just don't think that they have the capacity. I think it's just like you got, according to some estimates, up to 6,000 people on the streets right now.
That's a lot. And
I don't know if I believe that number, but even if it were 600 people, if you were going to try to figure out, okay, where should each of these people go to get help, that would be an excessive strain on the resources of the city. So do you not buy the excuse that Mendenhall's giving, that this is a regional issue, that really all of the cities along the Wasatch Front need to step up because all the homeless people end up congregating in downtown Salt Lake City?
I don't know who to blame. I just know what we're doing isn't working. So I think it was done better before. I've been around quite a few mayors, and so I don't know if it's just something that's going on everywhere right now, which we hear about. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I can say that's the truth or not.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of factors. I think it's a failure of leadership in the mayor's office. It's a failure of foresight and planning when they closed the 1,000-bed shelter.
I don't know why they did that.
Yeah, and replace it with 3 200-bed shelters.
Yeah.
Like that's somehow going to accommodate everybody. Obviously, that didn't work.
No.
So things were a lot better when the road home with 1,000
Yeah,
beds was
we
open.
worked at the road home for 3 years. Our salon would go down every Wednesday for 3 years, and we did hair on Wednesdays. And we probably would do 18 to 20 haircuts on women. They had someone that did the men's hair, but we would do women's hair. And we do colors, and we do nails sometimes. We would do nothing crazy colors, but I just wanted to help them get a job.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then I
That's a
hired
great
one.
service.
I hired one, and I bought her 2 cars. I bought another woman teeth down there. I won some awards. We did a lot for that community, and I had several girls come and work for me from the homeless shelter. So
Did you make it clear to the city and the mayor that you've been in downtown for 30 years, and if things don't work out, you're going to have to leave?
yeah,
And you didn't get the response you were hoping
No,
for?
no,
No grant, nothing.
no.
Well, I'm sure I can speak for a lot of people who live and work in downtown. We're going to be sorry to see you leave
Yeah.
Midtown salons.
We have moved to Trolley Square, so it's a beautiful spot. We're in a beautiful salon, and it's nice and safe and secure. So that will help my girls a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but we're
cool.
sad. I'm very sad. I've been downtown probably off and on for 40 years. I worked at Weinstocks before that, so it's sad to leave downtown.
Yeah, I think, a lot of memories and a lot of cool businesses that you remember over the years have come and gone, and it's just like the businesses are what make the downtown area
Yeah.
special. It's like you have no downtown if you close all the local businesses.
That's true.
That is the asset there. And so I wish they were putting more effort into preserving and protecting that.
Yeah, we had USANA in here a few months ago, and they were over the Hyatt, and they called and said they didn't want to walk over to the salon, and we're right by the Hyatt. I mean, just around the corner. And so they had us come over there to do their hair and their makeup. And then when we got there, it was weird because, we're like, what room are you in? We went to go to the elevators, and the girls couldn't get on the elevators. They have like a security guard there. So we had to call for them to come down and get the girls and take them up to the room. And so I asked them why. And they said they don't allow people to go up and down the rooms anymore because they had such a problem with homeless running around in the hallways. So,
Oh, geez.
yeah. And it's a nice, expensive hotel. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, hopefully the problem gets better before it gets worse, but unfortunately, I think it's probably going to get worse before
I think
it gets
it will
better.
too. I think so too.
Yeah. Well, thanks for coming on, Teresa.
Well, thank
really
you.
appreciate having you.
Thank
And
you.
thanks for watching. So if you want to be a bigger part of Utah Stories and help support our coverage, go visit utahstories.com. You can either subscribe to the magazine and be a part of it that way. We've got print and digital options, or we've got a supporter option. The VIP ticket that you get with your becoming a print, digital, or a supporter goes to our film that we're premiering at Broovies November 2nd. It's our first ever documentary film premiere. It's called Consider. It's about all of the homeless coverage we've been doing over the years. And it's the tickets are already selling really quite fast. So while supplies last, go take advantage of that offer and come and watch our film premiere at Broovies November 2nd from 6 to 9 p.m. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time.